Uh, Hello friends. This is the second video in the continuation about my last AFSB experience in Dehradun. One AFSB Dehradun. After clearing my FCAT written exam, I appeared for AFSB in September 2025. uh, we all reported on the gate around 5:30 a.m. The reporting was around 200 candidates, out of which around 30 candidates got document out. First of all, they will make us comfortable in the large auditorium, which is named after Marshal of the Air Force Arjun Singh. After that, they started calling out the documents that whomsoever is it not in possession of these documents must come out by his honesty. But at that moment of time, I was also lacking one document, which was my provisional degree of the college graduation. I didn't have that degree, but I didn't went outside. And I was with the mindset that I will face everything after the screening test, because I have talked to my some friends and they have told me to do this same thing which I was doing. After that, our OER test started. It was a pretty simple OER test, and the answers of the OER was already marked in the question booklet which was provided to the candidates. Now talking about the picture which was shown to us, it was a all blurred picture in which we were only able to see like this three fingers coming up from a hand. So we were again made a group of 15 candidates. The most of the candidates was not able to perceive the picture properly, even though I was also very haphazard in my perception and vague. Although I've discussed with my candidates who were front or just back to me, and they have made a story on swimming, so that my story was also on swimming. So, but one candidate in our group has made a story on there was a desert scenario, and it was also totally fine because one can perceive anything one wants. And when the group discussion started, there was a no talking about narration first. So in this group also we were divided in 15 candidates, and my chess number was second from the starting. So I completed my narration and properly focused on the story of other candidates. And it was very hilarious. I found that some candidates were making story on quiz competition out of the picture, which was totally not mentioned. And therefore, one more candidate was very fascinating, come up with very fascinating story, which was around making of an e-commerce online app, which was also totally irrelevant to the stimulus provided to us. And there was one more picture that one candidate has narrated that he is taking his father for a recreational uh, tour to some water park or some adventure park like that. So the one thing I realized that whenever the GTO feels that the story is not following the stimulus of the picture, he will directly shout to the next. He will once ring the bell and he will shout next. And you can clearly make this in your mind that uh, this is not a good impression which you have put it. After that, the group discussion started, and it was a chaotic situation again. And this time I also entered with only one line that, gentlemen, seven of us has made story on swimming, so let's take a base this as the base of our story. So later on in the group discussion, I realized that my story is on a negative note. I have made a story on that one kid is drowning in the waters, and the rescuer, who was a hero of the story, has come and tried to save him. This was the story, my story, which was involving some kind of negativity, because it was never shown in picture that the kid has been drowning. Only the three fingers were coming up. So the chess number, which was just next to me, he made a story on a swimming competition, that uh, how he approached his coach, improved his regular fitness by doing morning sessions and as well as evening sessions, how he took care of his diet, how he took participate in various events which eventually helped to boost his stamina. And I liked his idea very much, and I in the group discussion I thoroughly supported his idea only. And when it came to the conclusion, my next test number, he nominated me to narrate the common group story, and I narrated it very confidently. and it was a shock that out of 15 members, seven of us get screened in, and seven only were those candidates who agreed on the story of swimming. And let me tell you, the secret of screening is the how illogical or how irrelevant the story is from the picture, but you should go with the group, you should go with the majority what the people are saying. Either you should try to contribute your ideas if it is relevant. If your story is not relevant, you must think immediately, and or try to make the notice of the points which was given by other candidates and mention those points in group discussion. It will help you. So after that, also uh, we were given new chest numbers, and we were given phone for around 5 minutes to inform our parents that we have cleared the stage one. And the one thing which I found very new or very foolproof, that when we were sent to the candidates line, there was a thorough inspection of our bags. They were sent to an electronic machine, so that none kind of electronic mobile devices we should carry with us inside the candidates lines, which was not present in Bangalore. It was manually they asked that if anyone is in possession of such electronic devices, they should come up with honesty and submit it now only, and no one is allowed to carry such devices in the candidates line. But in Dehradun, they checked through electronic gadgets, and it was a thorough inspection. So, talking about so the as you know, the AFSC procedure is they will conduct the psych test in the evening itself. But before that, we will be provided with around 4 hours of sufficient rest, in which we all caught up with our sleep and freshen up, and then we went to the urgency auditorium, and then we attempted our psych test. The most of the stories are repeated, around 7 to 8 stories was totally repeated. At that time I was not ready with my with my psych test, because I was not enoughly prepared. In the SD, I wrote whatever honestly my parents and my colleagues have provided me the feedback. I've written it on the honest way, which was not to be done. Talking about the SRTs, I have used maximum number of adjectives like frequently, immediately, which I later corrected that these things are not or not to be mentioned. I have discussed it with one psychologist who is a colonel rank officer, and he told me not to do such mistakes again. And talking about one more major mistake I performed in psych test, that 12th story I made on a movie character which was inspired by a web series of American Armed Forces, American Air Force especially. And the psychologist whom I later consulted, he strictly advised me to not make to not get inspired from someone other's story in your 12th story. 12th story should be your own. And the next day we were assigned for our personal interviews. And talking about my this time interview, it was a very casual conversation. The interviewing officer, he was mostly in a sleeping demeanor like this. Most Once he used to ask the rapid fire questions around 7 to 8 in line, then he used to go back to his sleep like this in position. So he was consistently doing it. Although some major mistakes which I found in myself, that I didn't properly mention about my hobbies and interest in my daily routine, which is a must. And I also missed to mention about how I managed to get myself updated with current affairs and all these things. So that's why obviously he didn't ask me about anything related to my hobbies as well as general awareness, which was my strong point at that time. But he kept on asking me about my family, how I spend time with them, how's my relation with father. And the one thing he kept on urging about is, tell me one more negative quality about your father, one more negative thing. And later on he hinged upon one thing, that later on I said that there's one thing, he's a bit judgmental sometimes. So he kept on asking, and my whole interview went from uh, it earlier it was going nice, and then it went from only this one word: what is judgmental according to you? who whom else do you think possess the same quality in your life? Have you seen any of your friends possessing this quality? And he kept on wasting my time in the interview. Later on I corrected my this mistake also, which helped me to improve my interview performance in SSB Bangalore. So talking about GTO, our GTO sir was a very smart person. He was a young and dynamic, Although there were two GTOs. One was the trainer, and our GTO was a trainee GTO. But the trainee GTO conducted our whole GTO process. Talking about GTO one, I participated thoroughly in my GD one, which was topic around the migration issue which was going on at that point of time. Second was what in our education, school education curriculum, what should be more focused? Was it soft skills, or is it the technological skills, or is it there was one more point which I forgot now, and I participated well in that also. Talking about group planning exercise, chess number 5 gave the common group narration, and his ideas were also workable. And later on, chess number 5 went up and also got recommended in the board also. Now he's waiting for the merit, and he's a very good friend of mine, unlike the other two candidates who got recommended from the Bangalore board. So that's a different case. So talking about the progressive group task and half group task, most of these tasks were solved by this gentleman, chess number 5 only. And although it was his first attempt, but his ideas were totally brilliant for the group, and his performance was very motivating. I found this chap to be very humble as well as a very active performer in the group. And talking about, although we face some difficulties in tying the rope, because the rope which is provided in the AFSB is almost 5 times the rope you will, almost 5 times in size the rope you will get in the normal SSB procedure. So it is almost impossible to make a one knot out of that rope only. So that's how it all went. Talking about my command task, it was a very simple command task, and I've realized that the GTO is not interested in wasting his time upon me, and so I accepted it. And later on in the conference day, I was aware of what will be my result, and but none of our group was sure that chess number 5 is going to get selected. But because of his performance and thorough confidence he made throughout, he was given the positive feedback, and he eventually got selected. So that's why that's how I came back from Dehradun, learned upon my mistakes, and improved in my next SSB. So let's see, in my next attempt, I would like to improve the mistakes which I have done in Bangalore, and see what happens. Thank you. That's all for today.